alert from all angles. All angles. I know a lot of people are pissed off about it, but
I'm announcing today in a major statement that under the Trump administration, your government will pay for, or your insurance company will be mandated to pay for, all costs associated with IVF treatment, fertilization for women, IVF treatment. Because we want more babies, to put it very nicely. And for this same reason, we will also allow...
To put it very nicely, what's the not nice way to put that, I wonder?
I don't know.
Allow new parents to...
He wants people fucking. That's what he wants to say. That's the not nice way to put it, right?
Well, no, because
because we want more babies, to put it very nicely.
Yeah, the not nice way to put it is we want people fucking.
Well, I don't think people aren't having babies because they're not having sex. I think they aren't having babies because they're having trouble, and which is the point of his policy rollout.
And for this same reason, we will also allow new parents...
Wait, Charles, how come you're not having babies?
To deduct major newborn expenses from their taxes, so that parents that have a beautiful baby will be able... So we're pro-family. Nobody's ever said that before. But the IVF treatments are expensive. It's very hard for many people.
What are you laughing about?
Nobody has ever said they are pro-family before. Oh, Trump.
So we got two things here. We got, well, three things. Why is Charles not having babies? One, two, because he named a couple of reasons why people don't have babies, and I'm just wondering where he falls under. One, two, he's talking about paying IVF. Either the government pays for it or mandating the insurance pays for it. What do y'all think about that? It seems maybe a slippery slope. I don't know. Not the worst thing, not the worst policy in the world. Probably the last one I would end, maybe. And tax write-offs for major new baby expenses. So Charles, Michael just got a new couch. Is that a new baby expense? And does he get to write it off?
Tax write-offs, I'm fine with. Don't you also get, I mean, as a dependent, do you write them off so that when that automatically offset some of that stuff? I mean, whatever. I'm fine with the tax write-off. I think paying for IVF is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's ridiculous. I don't take moral issue with IVF. I have no moral. I know a lot of pro-lifers do have a moral issue with IVF. I don't. And it's the only way some people can have children, and that's perfectly acceptable. But the fact is, IVF ranges, and there's some that go lower and higher, from $10,000 to $30,000 per cycle. I Googled it in 2022. 92,000 babies were born through IVF. I don't know what it is today. I'm sure it's higher. So 92,000 times the low end, which is 10,000, is what, $92 million, $920 million. That's the low end.
Wait, hold on, stop. 92,000 times 10,000.
92,000 times 10,000.
I don't think it's 920 million, is it? That doesn't sound right. That sounds way too high.
92,000. I don't know. Somebody do the math. I think it's 900. And
Michael's over there like meditating or something like that. I don't know what the hell's happening.
I think it's 900.
I'm listening. I'm trying to find a quote.
Well, yeah, I think it's 920 million. Anyway,
that's a lot.
Michael, what's 92,000 times 10,000?
I'm doing it right now. Keep talking.
So
we're really good at math here.
It's a big number.
It wasn't my strong suit. So that's on the low end. And that's
920 million. Dang, that's a lot.
Right. So that's on the low end because we're talking about 10,000, and that's one cycle. And so for people who need multiple cycles, for people who it costs more, for people who, thank you, Dane, for the fact that it's going to go up when government's paying for it. It's unfathomable. I mean, that's incredibly expensive. Then you're inserting government in the lives, because I would say that if you're making us pay for IVF, government should do some sort of, screening to make sure that this person is like mentally and emotionally sound enough to have a child. Two, like, it's just the whole thought. It's just ridiculous. Like, I just don't think, listen, offsetting it's one thing, but to cover the cost of it. And then on the other flip side, he's talking about mandating insurances cover it. That's Obamacare-esque. All of our insurance premiums are going to go up because everybody else is paying for it too. It just doesn't make sense. Then lastly, you have all these kids sitting in foster care and adoption orphanages. Are we not subsidized? Why don't we tell people to go adopt them and pay for that if that's the case? Like, it's just, I know he's just throwing it out there because he needs something to get suburban women, and which is also why he said that he no longer supports or is not voting in favor of keeping the 6-week ban in Florida, and says he wants more weeks for abortion. So I know that's why he's changing his position on it. I don't know if that means he's going to hold steady to that when he's elected, but it's not good policy. I mean, we cannot afford that. We can't
argue with that. He's making a cynical political play here, which I think there are better ways to achieve what he's trying to achieve in terms of Charles's critique of the policy. 100%. Like, if you say the government's going to pay for it, it's just going to cost more, and then we're going to pay more for it. We've seen that with healthcare. We've seen that with student or college tuition. We've seen that with a bunch of things. But the one caveat I will say, I was looking through my old book notes and was like, I should post quotes to Twitter instead of just always shit posting. And one of the ones I found was Frederick Bastiat, The Law. He says, think less of punishing the faults than of encouraging the virtues you want. So tax break for people who have kids and families, love it. I love the concept of giving people a tax break if they build a family. I love it. But should we pay for IVF for all the reasons Charles pointed out? Probably not.
And I do think we should be encouraged. Like, I do not typically like government inserting itself in people's lives, but given the fact that this country, we are not having children, and the only reason our population is growing is because of immigrants coming here, we should be looking at encouraging people to have kids, and I do think government can play a role in that. But I don't think this is the role, and I think we really need to be figuring out why the hell people can't have kids. Like, why are we in a place where IVF and other things are so necessary today than in years past? Is it the stuff we're eating? Is it the chemicals like, there's something there as to why it is so
astrazine,
seed oils,
the astrazine.
I mean, truly,
the frog's gay. What do you think it's doing to you?
You know, no kids, shooting blanks, I guess.
Well, or Miss Blain, do we have some news for you?
Yeah, but the point is, we do need to be identifying what the problem is, and obviously that's a very difficult thing.
We should get some testosterone checks. You know.
Well, I mean, I don't know that it's. I don't know. I mean, we don't know if it's all the men's issue. We don't know if it's women's issue. I mean,
it's definitely the women for sure. The men are fine.
The soy boys aren't fine.
I'm just joshing around with you guys. You guys can take it. It's fine.
Sperm counts are down. Sperm counts are down too. It's
I know
all of the toxins that are in our body.
I'm just joshing around, all right? Not every joke is going to land exactly like huge laughs, but y'all don't have to take them seriously.
I didn't take it seriously. Sometimes I'm just scared to laugh.
Michael over here, like, giving me the dirtiest look possible. How dare you say that?
And Dane's also making a great point. Women, I mean, are not. Some women are uninterested in having children in the way that they used to because of
big mistake. I mean, it's not whatever. I get it. So have children, fine. I get it, but I think it's bad advice. People need to be giving the advice: have children young and let them grow with your career. Don't have children late and interrupt your career. Now, of course, people do it all different ways, and it works, whatever. But just as general advice, I think that's better.
Well, and I also think that people used to be getting married at like 18 and having like 5 kids by 28. And maybe there's something to be said about like why at mid-30s. Like, there's a lot to look into here. And I just think that's a more worthwhile endeavor than trying to say that government's going to pay for IVF when I don't even know what the percentages of times that IVF fails. But I know when I've heard of people going through IVF, they go through rounds after rounds after rounds after rounds of trying to make it work very often.
They're making a lot of shots.
Here's one of the reasons why our fertility rates aren't down, and are down. And this is one of the preferred snack foods of the woman running to be president of the United States.
Oh my! I saw a tweet about this morning.
Doritos. Share screen. Here you go.
You're not serious.
No, I am.
What is actually in Doritos? Let's find out. Let's look at the ingredients. First ingredient, corn, which is certainly drenched in glyphosate, a pesticide that is implicated in cancer in humans. Second ingredient, vegetable oil, sunflower oil and canola oil. Those are both seed oils, which we know are extremely harmful for humans and probably the single greatest drivers of obesity and metabolic dysfunction in humans today. Monosodium glutamate, better known as MSG, something that has been associated with increased appetite and in animal models clearly causes harm to male reproduction.
You get the point.
I mean, that was the point. You cut it off. It was the whole point of this.
And the reason I bring that up is because I was running around this analogy in my mind the other day. Diet is almost the perfect analogy for this election. Doritos are Kamala Harris. You want to eat them. They taste good, maybe, but they're terrible for you in the long run. And Trump is like the vegetables. You hate them. You don't want to eat them. It doesn't taste good, but it's better for your long-term health. How about that?
I mean, I think it's funny because it's true, but I think in reality, I don't know that the last time Trump has had a vegetable.
I don't know. I remember back when he was in the White House, he would like get McDonald's and Wendy's and Pizza Hut delivered, and he'd have it all spread out over on the table and be like all proud. So
you remember
I don't think he eats well.
You remember when Obama had all those hot dogs spread out over the table?
$65,000 worth. He flew them in from Chicago.
It's a wild hot dog party.
9, 11, and 13. They'll be waiting in the hot tub.
It's crazy.
I do.
I found this handkerchief and it's pizza related. What's up with that?
I think it's yours.
I think so. Dane, 65% chance of success for IVF. So we're going to be paying for a lot of IVF. And I don't know. I think we need to look at foods. We need to look at exercise. We need to look at the stuff.
We care, Dane. We care. You say you love Trump in case we care. We absolutely.
I think that everybody here. I mean, I guess we don't have to say who we're voting for, but I think everybody here is.
Don't be a pussy, Charles.
I'm critical because I care. It's kind of like when you yell at your kids, right? Like you care about them, so you yell at them. You don't yell at other people's kids. I
yell at other people's kids exclusively.
Well, I'm not surprised at all.
Exclusively.
Yeah. No,
There's actually one of my son's friends that I like have to say, like, you know, you got to say hi when you come in. You got to say thank you. You got to say bye when you leave. Like you can't just ignore. Like, stop it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know, and he gets mad at me because I'm not like dressed up when he comes over, and I'm not like offering him drinks. And so I don't know. Is he right? Am I right? I don't know.
He's right, of course.
Naturally.
Dane said IVF is the first thing I've really disagreed with Trump about. I think but I think that's an important point. And what Trump has been doing with RFK and Tulsi, if we go back to that, and I think he's going to do it with more people, is like, we don't have to agree on everything to support each other. Like, let's agree on some things, the fundamental things, and then we can debate the IVFs and the abortions and all the other topics that, well, some people might say abortion is fundamental, so maybe that's not a good example, but all the other issues, we can debate them, but we can still support each other in pursuing the things that need to be changed, such as endless war, censorship, and toxins and bad food that we're eating.
Those are Michael's priorities, if you didn't know.
Well, those are what RFK articulated as the top priorities for them combined. But
how is seed oil bad? I eat seed oil.
How is seed oil bad? It's just bad for you. It causes inflammation. Like it makes people get sunburned.
That's not where I was going. What I was saying is the guy was talking about sunflower seed oil. Okay, I don't eat sunflower seeds, but people eat sunflower seeds all the time.
And that's bad for them. People eat Doritos all the time. People do
cashews and pistachios.
Eating sunflower seeds and sunflower oil, which has been extracted through a chemical process, is very different.
There's a difference.
It's like saying eating corn and corn syrup are the same thing.
Okay, so so then what about sunflower seed oil that comes from just crushed up sunflower seeds?
What if I put corn syrup on my corn?
Dane, I personally use extra virgin olive oil
avocado.
Avocado oil is good. Has a high.
Just use butter, you freaks. God.
Butter's great too.
Butter is great. Butter, ghee, get some fucking
tallow is good.
Yeah,